It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Muriah Afolabi. As always, I have the ladies with me. We are Julie's in the mood today, so I'll start with you.
Yes, I agree.
Bubbly, what's going on? Like, they don't sell markets.
I don't they sell. God bless my online fans. They are showing up for me. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm selling out some items already. I'm going, after this show now, after my morning duties, I'm going straight to the market. I don't wear slippers.
Just keep my white and black one I ordered.
You don't go.
Hey,
Sister, I don't know. They sell them for sure. Then also, I finished my series shoot. I rounded up yesterday.
Oh, 1 month long.
1 full month.
Huge.
Yeah, so now I can face, the TBS and then get ready to launch in my store on the 18th of November. I'm excited. I'm fired up.
Hey. So much things happening. So you let them sell my clothes.
No verse.
Hey.
I would compensate you when you come to the store.
Okay, I'll find some compensation.
Yeah,
How you doing, Mara? Let's come to you, Jai. How you doing?
Okay, we're jumping. I'm fine. I'm good. I was going through some of my meals yesterday and I realized I missed something that would have been a great opportunity. It was so painful. But then, I sent them an apology letter and everything, and, that fixed it. Like, okay, when next time it comes up. So sometimes, you feel like you've goofed so much and you want to hide. Don't hide. Just go and apologize, and you may never know. There might just be an opportunity still waiting.
Yeah, fantastic. Good. How you doing, Nima?
Fine, fine. I'm grateful.
You're still feeling all your glasses.
Yes.
All the
Thank you
blessings.
to Mr. Lemmy.
They're just sending you rishi.
Five.
Wow, lovely.
Thank you, Mr.
Say you want more? I said no. Thank you, sir. I'm very grateful.
Doesn't it feel good that Mr. Lemmy is still watching you? Still
I get my
looking out for
feedbacks.
you.
I can't appreciate him enough. I think by February, when I'll be 10 years on Your View, I'll do something about that. I'm very grateful for his feedbacks. That's how I've grown. But I noticed that I cannot finish horror movies anymore.
Cannot finish what?
Because most of these movies, all of them, half-half. You sent me one. Half-half. I tried to go back to it. I just cannot.
I remember
there was this movie about, pharmaceuticals and drugs and abuse.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I really, really want to watch it. But the first two scenes,
It was scary.
blood done they did there.
Oh, my God.
And my heart would just be...
Let me tell you the one that I haven't finished watching that is so funny, Madam Koi Koi. Then I realized that it was dark outside. Did you do secondary school in Nigeria?
Yes,
I
of
did.
course
Boarding
I did.
school?
I know, but
Everybody knows Lady Koi.
But it wasn't. I
didn't go to boarding school. I was able to watch
No,
Madam Koi Koi.
for those of us
I was able to watch.
Naturally scared.
I was scared, but I
didn't
was...
think it was scary
But you see
at
those
all.
gun-carrying movies? There was a guy that was on our show. I tried to really finish his movie. Till today.
Yeah, I like gun
I
carrying,
think
but
this is DTF Young's movie.
yeah. I love gun carrying thrillers. I love those.
I even do vampires.
See, Big
on
Love.
top.
If they could have made...
Oh,
10
Big
seconds,
Love was a good movie.
That's how fast I watched it. As I didn't drop anything till I finished.
Yeah.
But the new
That was a
trending,
good movie.
the new trending Indian one, Jawan. Everybody's talking about it. I like to
I
watch
have
it
to go
today.
and
I've not watched it.
Oh, God,
Everybody's talking about the Jawan. Everybody's talking
I
about
don't watch
it.
foreign movies.
Action.
It's the Indian. I know be like
Love.
us.
They always have
Most
the way
unlikely.
to
Indian.
love.
If it's Nigerian movie, I would watch it.
I'll watch the Indian one today. Maybe Friday night. I'll do that Friday.
Give
night.
us feedback. I can't watch anything now till December. I'm working.
So those of us that are not working, we will watch
I
it.
did not say that. Oh, I did not say that. I'm hustling.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll look at the front pages on the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, let's going to start with the nation. Imo police-labor clash likely. Federal government shocker soon for dollar-naira speculators. Court strikes out Deputy Governor Aiyedatiwa's suit. And Senate goes tough on MDA's disrespect for resolutions. Okay, everybody's waiting for the Imo State elections coming up very quickly. The police and the Labour are possibly on a collision course in Imo State ahead of the Saturday governorship elections, as the police prepare to secure the state before and during and after the elections. Labour, on the other hand, have put together measures for a planned strike. So according to, they announced a strike, according to them, to paralyze air travel in and out of Owerri, the state capital, and electricity and fuel supply cuts to the state beginning today. The NLC and TUC said yesterday that the measures were their reactions to last week's attack on the NLC's President Joe Ajero and the state's alleged refusal to pay workers. Police sources said that the plans by Labour is nothing but sabotage, and it will not be tolerated in any way. The source explained that security would not fold its arm and allow anything to stop the elections and thereby create a constitutional crisis. You know what it means to prevent an election from being held to elect the governor of a state is a major constitutional crisis in a sub-national entity as Imo State. So we'll see how that, and I hope there's safety because both parties are not letting down.
In Imo State, I heard that you had gone to the court to get an injunction preventing the chief judge from setting up panel as required by the Constitution upon the request of the House of Assembly to investigate him. But at the hearing on the October 13th, he had brought the application, but yesterday's hearing, his lawyers withdrew his application and the opposing counsel too did not oppose to that withdrawal. And so the court struck it out and asked them to, to maintain peace and adjourn the matter for further hearing. I'm hoping that this drama happening in Ondo State is stemmed at some point. It's just going on and on and on. It's turning on its own. It has to stop at some point.
So the presidency yesterday said that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is working on policies that will strengthen the Naira. The special advisor to the president on economic matters, Dr. Tokwe Fasua, was the one who disclosed it at the Cowries to Cash lecture launch that happened in Abuja yesterday. And he said that there's been a steady rise in the value of the Naira in the past few days, and this trend is expected to continue as a result of the policies being rolled out by the government. And said, while positing that the fall in the value of the currency of a country was a sign of conquest. And he says, when you want to destroy a country, the first thing you do is to, destroy their currency first. So he went ahead to also caution Nigerians that are hoarding the dollar, saying that the policies the government is going to roll out will shock all of them. So for those of you who are hiding the dollars, continue. Those of you who are praying that Naira is watered down, we don't have currency, continue. But they are rolling out serious, policies that would strengthen the Naira and also help us to use more of the Naira, even in our international transactions. Yeah. So he says that, so I think they're also going to be reorganizing the banking sector as well. And he said there are lots of great ideas coming out from the presidency. As we can see, he has plans to make sure that Nigeria's economy gets to $1 trillion in 2026, that he's planning to achieve that. And he's a patriot. The people working for him are patriots. They're having conversations to see how they can strengthen the Naira. He's hoping that in a few months' time, Naira would, to $1 would be about 500 to 600. From what we're seeing so far. I don't know. I think it's gone down to 900 and something. I'm not sure.
So far.
Yeah. So
strengthening. We'll see.
Yeah. So at the national workshop on legislative compliance yesterday, that was organized in collaboration with Greenmount Consulting Limited, the Senate President, who was represented by the Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin, spoke on, the importance of paying attention to the resolutions, and compliance. The Senate President wants MDAs, especially of the federal government, against non-compliance with resolutions and laws of the upper chamber. The Senate President also stressed that the Senate is committed to upholding the rule of law, emphasized the importance of MDAs as adhering to Senate resolutions. There were other speakers as well, other legislators, who emphasized or highlighted different things, but really it's basically on compliance. They stressed the need for senators to adhere to their own resolutions and responsibility of the Legislative Compliance Committee to do the needful, emphasized on the importance of working together with MDAs to improve the country's compliance with laws and resolutions. And also, Senator Ayogu Eze harped on the critical role of compliance committee, urging its members to draw up an agenda to enhance the country's compliance with the laws. So this was just about the importance of, following the Compliance Act by the Senate, by the Red Chamber.
They punch. Off-season elections, crisis rocks peace meeting, NLC strike threatens Imo poll. Picture here of battle for Bayelsa, Jonathan Diri Sylvia canvas for votes. Certificate racketeering, Lagos Assembly probes LASU. Israel-Hamas Senate demands ceasefire, U.S. rejects Gaza occupation. 5 jailed for sharing Osun ex-speaker's nude video. Nigerians lament as Canada suspends Abuja embassy operations. Over $700 million remains trapped in Nigeria, says foreign airlines. And NNPCL unveils new crude grade, ships 1.9 million barrels. Okay.
Okay, so should I start?
Five jailed for circulating ex-speaker's nude video and obtaining 38 million from him. So they've been sentenced, these 5 men, for cyber stalking, defrauding the former Speaker of Osun State House of Assembly. So it was this video in 2018. It was a 30-minute video, and it showed this ex-speaker in the nude, and then people had accosted him for performing ritual purposes. And then these people had this video, and they had used it to blackmail this ex-speaker for many years, and from it they got 38 million naira from him. So this was him hoping that they would not even release it, but even after getting that money, they went ahead to release it. Anyway, these 5 people were named Kazim Agba Biaka, Rashid Ojonla, Babatunde Oluwajo, Adebiye Kende, Femi Oseni, and Oyebanji Oyeni were arraigned before the court, and you know, they have been sentenced for conspiracy, advance fee fraud, and cyber stalking. So watch out, people.
Very important something.
Okay.
Okay, so I have the Lasso story, of course, as a matter of interest. So there's been a trending story about certificate racketeering within Lasso. An online newspaper carried it that, you know, there's a racketeer that sells authentic certificates from Lasso for, depending on courses, between 2 million and 3 million, depending on the technicality of the courses. And the school issued a statement immediately saying that this was being probed immediately, that the management said no such allegations are true. You know, that let me read what they quickly say. We are hereby established that the management promptly brought the original allegation to the attention of the general law enforcement agencies, including the Office of the Lagos State Directorate of Public Prosecution. These authorities have not yet concluded their investigations, but the motion was now moved at the House of Assembly in Lagos State to look into it, to invite the VC, invite the Senate of the school, and invite the Commissioner for Tertiary Education in Lagos State, Mr. Tolani Akibu, to see how authentic this is. But in that same motion on the floor of the House that was moved by Olabi Ajani, they were talking about, they brought other matters of urgent public importance, and they were talking about retaining the integrity of the school. And they're looking into those staff members of the records and e-results department. I'm trying to remember, I've crammed this thing. It happens. So they are probing the department in charge of certificates and records within the school already. That's from the House of Assembly. Okay. They're also inviting these officials I mentioned earlier to also look into it. I think it's extremely important, because I cannot believe that such a thing is possible.
I don't believe your ears.
All right. Following the accident that happened at the Canadian Embassy that led to the loss of lives of 2 persons, the Canadian Embassy in Nigeria suspended operations until further notice. Through the Canadian High Commission's X handle, they announced a temporary suspension of operations. And it says that the announcement implies a suspension of visa and immigration services for people seeking to visit or emigrate to Canada. So there is also no offer of services to Canadians visiting and living in Nigeria. So Nigerians obviously trying to jackpot or trying to relocate are seriously concerned that now that their embassies have been closed, it's going to obviously delay their immigration. This is also following their announcement of the possible terrorism attacks. You know, remember US had issued a recent warning. Canada also gave similar warning to says due to unpredictable security situation throughout this country and the significant risk of terrorism, crime, intercommunal clashes, armed attacks, and kidnapping, they're advising that their citizens should be warned and be paying attention to travel advisory across. So, yeah.
Yeah, so our foreign airlines are saying that about 90% of their $783 million trapped fund have not been paid by the federal government. The airlines stated this during a stakeholders forum convened by the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, in Lagos recently. And now, according to the data from the International Air Transport Association, As at August 2023, Nigeria accounted for a substantial $783 million of airlines blocked funds, which is trapped in Nigeria, and said despite the recent efforts to alleviate the situation, the airlines have still not received significant portion of those funds. They are not able to access it. So the chairman of the International Airline Operators, Mr. Chima Kingsley, emphasized that international banks had received some funds from the central bank, but it was less than a fraction, just about 10%, and the funds are still trapped. Keyamo has promised that they are doing whatever they can to ensure that they are able to pay these airlines.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, we're going to move on now to Vanguard. Naira, Tinubu shock currency, speculator says presidency. Ajero, NLC, TUC declare nationwide strike on November 14th. I won't already sign agreements, Wike declares. Why Southwest governors ended political interference in Odua group, says Abiodun. And NNPC Aeto, JV introduces Nembe crude grade to oil market in London. Okay?
Yes, our FCT minister has expressed his desire to painstakingly follow through all bilateral agreements with his administration will enter with anyone. So this is what he means. He says usually these bilateral agreements would end up at discussion level. Nothing is ever done after that. That for him, he will not hurriedly get into these agreements, but also it will not just be agreements that will just end once the discussions are over. And he was saying this to the Irish ambassador to Nigeria, Peter Ryan, and they are talking on, you know, some of the things that they could work together with Nigeria on, especially the FCT. The minister for the FCT is saying that, see, Nigeria will have huge arable lands. Let's see how we can work with Ireland since they are quite strong on agriculture. Ireland is saying that they're looking at agriculture, education, and ICT, that they have a huge community of Nigerians in Ireland, and they're making huge impact in ICT and agriculture there as well. You know, they talked about other things, but then I was hoping, okay, they said the Nigerian community is huge on ICT and sports. So that brought to mind the story of the young girl who was publicly, in my opinion, racially abused when she was not giving her medal. I hope it came up during this conversation to see how Nigerians are being treated and if, you know, something specifically was done to address that issue. I would have loved that.
That was very painful to watch.
Yes.
When he
I have the Joe Ajero story. So the NUC as well as the TLC, NLC and the TUC, sorry, I've swapped them, have decided that they will start an immediate strike in Imo State starting today, and that they will go on a nationwide strike if their issues are not met by November 14th over this Imo State issue. So some of the allegations in the communique are that they have grievances on outstanding salary arrears, unjust declaration of about 11,000 workers as ghost employees, non-compliance with the 30,000 minimum wage, and that they also have allegations of declaring of about 10,000 pensioners as ghost retirees. These are strong allegations, and I hope the Imo State governor is not playing politics at this time. He should be responding technically in details to some of these allegations. Also, they insist that, you know, the act of violence and bloodshed that has happened in Imo State that was inflicted upon their members, especially Joe Ajero himself during the planned botched protest, was masterminded by the executive in Imo State. They're insisting that that is the situation, and they will start strike by stopping, first of all in-flights coming into Imo State. They will stop flights coming into Imo State, in and out of Imo State. Fuel supplies, electricity, all of that will be stopped. you don't want to force this hardship. I think by now they should be sitting down, instead of playing politics and responding on the front pages, they should be sitting down at a table and clarifying these issues by elimination method. This one, not us, tact. Establish your evidence. This one, not us, and let's not leave politics for later.
Okay.
These are serious allegations.
So I have a story, an inside story. It said a yet to be identified middle-aged man was feared dead yesterday, while 5 others sustained various degrees of injuries when irate youths went on rampage at Iyowa Udekwe community in Ogbaru local government area of Anambra State, triggered by last Monday's Iyowa Udekwe Landlord Association election. It said at press time, 30 vehicles, 20 buildings, and other property estimated at over 100 million were equally destroyed by the youths, purportedly working for the indigenes of the state. So what happened was that the Landlord Association had planned to have an election for their new executives. And so they planned the election to happen on Monday. But then the indigenes, the landlord indigenes, did not want that election to hold. So they had their own, a separate one from the main group, on Sunday and elected their own representatives. But on Monday, the non-indigenous came, as usual, to have their own election. Those people came, sent their youth to come and scatter the place. They moved to another environment, successfully concluded that election. And then by yesterday morning, they had sent, the indigenes had sent their youths to their houses and they started destroying properties worth over 100 million. They said, according to the president of the Landlords Association, that's the president-elect of the non-indigene Landlord Association, said that they had come to his house, they burnt his car, they damaged his properties, they went to the vice president's soap factory, they damaged properties there. One person is nearly dead, a lot of other people are injured, and so they're asking that those indigenes, those youths, are going to pay for what has happened. The police has confirmed the story, and they have promised to start investigation to find out exactly what happened.
Okay, so Khan, in Abuja yesterday, some of the eminent Christian clerics, including Archbishop Daniel Oko, President of Khan, Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba, Primate of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, amongst so many others, had declared that despite Nigeria's deplorable situation, it is not irredeemable. This is quite interesting to hear because Khan was very vehemently against recent happenings in the past few years. So amid ongoing trials faced by the nation, the religious leaders made a renewed call to action for Nigerian Christians, emphasizing the importance of unity, constructive engagement with the government. Oh, wow. And a commitment to improving the lives of all citizens. That is really interesting to hear from Khan, because there was a time that Khan got really, really interestingly engaging during the election period. Okay, moving on quickly now to the New Telegraph. Sada says Guba will nullify results where there is violence, says INEC. Senate probes lopsidedness in federal government's recruitment and deployment. Reps vows to end terrorism financing money laundering. Study shows hope as finger prick test detect brain tumors. Lagos Guba Appeal Court reserves judgment and LP and PDP's appeal. And market dynamics, others liable for new fuel hikes, says Ipman. Okay? Yeah, go ahead.
So scientists are developing the world's first finger prick diagnostic for identifying brain tumors. I thought this would be interesting for us since we had the neurosurgeon yesterday. So this would mean that it would be non-invasive and that you're able to detect brain tumors at an earlier stage and you're able to do it at home. So what happens now is that you go for MRI scans every 3 to 6 months if you have like a brain tumor, especially when it's reoccurring. But if this is finally developed, of course it's Oyinbo people that are developing it. If it's finally developed in your home, weekly you are able to just prick your finger and then it would give you some signs. Yes.
Wow.
So this will make it much easier, less invasive, and able to catch the tumors quickly.
We thank them.
Wish them all the best.
I wanted to take this Senate probes lopsidedness in the recruitment. So in a motion, they adopted a motion moved by Senator Titus Zam, who represents Benue Northwest Senatorial District. And the motion is, of course, mandating Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters to carry out an holistic investigation into the alleged lopsided and emerging infractions in the recruitment and deployment of officers by the Federal Civil Service Commission and other related agencies. He is insisting in that motion that the employment must reflect federal character of the nation. You know, it must reflect the principle of federal character and curb lopsidedness across the country. It is not today. I will say it here, quotes me, that, you know, we felt over the years that the civil service doesn't reflect Nigeria, and it's always tilted to a particular ethnic side, or like what it should be. So some people will finish their tests, like my sister did those days, and they will just cancel the entire test because it doesn't, you know, it's not based on merit, it doesn't reflect, they just don't want these things to happen. Everybody must be able to apply for a job and get it without seeking assistance or knowing somebody that knows somebody.
Some people too believe that even religious, that certain religion, some either ethnic and religion.
The last Senate raised this issue too when they talked about how NNPC recruited secretly. They did not publicize it, nothing. We cannot continue to run country as if all of us. Big manism.
Nepotism.
No, some people have to change their names.
Yeah, so reflect a certain
it's
wrong now.
So it's all
wrong now.
Okay,
So wrong, my sister.
let us go on a break. When we come back, we want to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so yesterday in the last 24 hours, a video about a woman, two women, church members. They're actually ministers in church, prophetesses. One seemed to be going at the other, accusing the other of being proud of some sort, or challenging her position. Or saying that she's better than her in some way. Anyways, we saw a video, really disheartening video, I would say, where unprintable words were being spoken by a woman of God. And I think that's really the crux. So aside from focusing on what the video showed, the real conversation is about how anger and aggression somewhat took over a woman who's supposed to be a woman of God to use words that shouldn't be found in the things of God, in the place of God. And I think that's really the conversation here. And many will say, please allow her to express herself because she's authorized to speak her mind. Others are saying she shouldn't have said it while wearing the garment, the holy garment. Others are saying she should never even have said that at all in the first place. What are your own thoughts on this? Because it goes to the character of our ministers, it goes to the person of our leaders, it goes to the deep-rooted immorality somewhat of some of our leaders and those we look up to. I would like to hear your thoughts on this. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. This was spoken in Yoruba, so a lot of people that don't understand Yoruba won't understand it. So we can't play it on TV because it's going to be one-sided. But the crux of it that she was insulting the other prophetess while wearing a holy garment. I'm told that the garment is holy. So when you wear the garment, you're supposed to be holy. But while wearing that garment, she's there using those kind of words against another minister. And it brings the conversation on, have we lost the moral compass of what is right and what is wrong? And that's the conversation today. Nima, would you like to start, please?
So the video trended where Oli Mary Motundalayo was slamming Prophetess Kehinde Oshoba for daring to tell her that she's a senior in the church. And she was so livid in the video, she slut-shamed her, she cursed her, she, different things. They were obviously battling for supremacy because she said, how dare you call me your senior? You, when your mother died, so time. And you are just, did your mother give birth to you at 9-year-old, the age difference? And you're coming out to say, do you know my age? You also said my teeth was broken by this and that for spiritual reasons. I had this tooth injury when my elder sister, just in responding, in fact, the fact, say, as you said it, she shouldn't have responded. If she must respond, she should not have used such unprintable demeaning, as in, of herself, not just the person she was addressing, words. Because, sometimes, when you are angry, I have that experience, Shao. When I finally get angry, maybe publicly, I feel ashamed.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel. I can't even, for any reason, even if I was the right person, I feel the need to want to apologize for how I have reacted to the other person. So it's something that you must put in check. Then when you are now a woman of God, because as I watch the TV, I say, you reach women of God time. You reach their turn now, see the fights.
Yams pepe scatter.
Scatter. Thank God for those that cannot hear Yoruba. God just saved your ears because you would have busted.
Yeah.
To hear the kind of things that I saw.
You tried to explain a bit of it to us, and if it wasn't so sad, it would be quite funny, because really she's referred to as Holy Mary.
Hey.
You know what? Do you know how Catholics revere
like that's a position for decades?
Yes.
Name, Holy Mary. When people say that in prayer and reverence to God, and you have that sort of name, that's one. Two, you are wearing the garment of holiness. I mean, when I see them, I don't go to those churches, but because they are dressed that way, automatic respect for who they are and what they represent. Yeah. Now you came and then you bastardized everything that sect stands for. The name, the dressing, and the sort of words that came out of your mouth. And I'm like, did you go through pastoral school?
Aha.
Were you anointed? Were you called by God?
Do you even know Christ at all?
Do you know Christ? Where did the words come from that you were able to say those sort of words? Let's say you said in the secret place of your house, nobody would know. Yes. Then you come on social media.
No,
with all confidence.
Camera.
Holy Mother, you did not do well. Honestly, you did not do well. I wish you did not do this. And I hope that you're able to come out and apologize. The second part is you were boasting on material things. You're talking about cars.
No more heavenly race.
Money spread.
You did not boast that the anointing when it's upon me, and you are jealous because God loves me. I'm the special Holy Mother of God. You are talking about Range Rover and G-Wagon.
Of the world.
Help me. Please, which world are we living in? Are we still living in the... What has happened?
Heavenly race.
There's
no has the answer to that question.
Please, what's
happening?
So, there's a difference between a woman of God and a woman of God.
Oh, woman of God.
Woman of God. I'm a woman of God. There's a difference between a woman of God and a woman of God.
My church.
And what I saw from the video,
the woman of God.
is a woman of God. We need to be very careful when we are dealing, because by their fruits you shall know them. The fruits of the man or the woman of God is evident in love, temperance. Even when the person annoys you, you speak peace, you speak love. You don't even have to come out and respond. Even if you want to respond, you respond in prayer. Bless your soul, love and light. You don't engage. You go straight and report the matter to the Holy Spirit, who will handle and flog the person on your behalf. But a woman of God handles things differently. So I wouldn't blame certain things that we saw. It came from within. When you want to know who somebody is, when they are upset, angry, when they are high or drunk, whatever it's inside, whatever has been stewed in for the longest of time is what comes out. And that's why when somebody is angry and is saying something, I pay attention, because I can tell where your mind has been for the last how many years. I can tell what exactly you think of me. Even if tomorrow you say, I did not mean it. It did not come from heaven. It did not come from the sky. It came from here. You did not mean that it came out. Not that you did not mean what you said. You just did not mean that it came out. If the person is drunk or high, pay attention to whatever they are saying. They are saying it from a deep-seated place, because at those times, do you know what happens? Your subconscious mind takes over. Your conscious mind is the one that we are using to have these cognitive discussions and everything. So you can censor what you're saying and what you're presenting and how your body language is reacting, because you don't want the other person to see within. But when your emotions take over, when you are angry or you're drunk
from the
or
depth
high,
of your
subconscious takes over, and everything you see there is what has been sitting, waiting to come out. No. So, okay, you want to...
So when somebody like that, because she, according to her, this is somebody who is a prophet who prays for people. So when a congregation, a member of a congregation sees their mother, God forbid I see from jail like this, God forbid. But when you're a congregation member, right, and you see something like this, or somebody, a woman of God in your church, how do you react? What should you do as a person? Because we see this and we're thinking, this is my mommy of...
Why the people you're asking? Are you asking us? Are you asking Nigerians that want violence? She give them one, she give them two, she give them... No. That is it. They are so what are you saying? Like I have seen where people are having conversations and people that are spectators are excited because some violent words were used. Yes, she gave her one, she gave her two, she gave her three. They're not... When it's a civil conversation, when it's a conversation where it's boring, they will tune off, they don't even know what you're saying. But you see, even in a conversation where maybe the person that is wrong is the one being overly aggressive, they don't care about what's right. It's that person was giving them, peppered them, all those things. So that's where we are. So the woman are gar and the people are gar. That's where we are. That's where we are right now. So now for us here, at least I know these women. I know that this is not a matter that we encourage. And really, it has become part of our... It's almost become part of our culture, but we should throw it away. There's nothing admirable about this at all.
It's not our culture. It's not our culture. And it's sad that I can even laugh about this. It was very, 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 very annoying to see. I'm wondering at what point, because, you know, when you have reverence around you like this, you seem to think to yourself, I'm too much. I'm much. Everybody is just reverencing me, revering me. They're just everywhere around me. So you start to feel somehow. Your inner staff that were the ones, I'm sure, showing her the video, that this person was recorded where the other Reverend, the other Miss, what should I call her, Holy Mary Oshoba, did at an event where she was addressing her and everything. If you must address at all, I don't think she should have. Personally, I don't think she should have addressed it. Yeah. If somebody say you big past you big for yourself. If you say you are small past me, you small for yourself. I didn't think she should have. Yeah. Because Miriam said something now that we love violence. A lot of people do. A lot of people don't. And if anybody should like the violence, it should be her who will say, no, this is wrong. This should not be. This is not the way of the Lord. Who is now calling to the Lord? These people, are they the God, the women of God, are be the ordinary Nigerian? Because at this point,
there's a message that came in here, and I would like to also address when I come back after the break. It says that, Mariah, shame on you that you're allowing Nima to have a conversation of shaming a woman of God. When we come back, we'll discuss that. Stay with us, right back.
I wonder what this...
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we talk about stuff, you know, all the times on this show, various topics, and seeing somebody send a message saying that, say shame on me. Let me read the message.
Please read it.
Shame on you, Mariah, for letting Nima condemn a woman of God. If it was a Muslim, would you be talking like this?
Nima, would you that person doesn't watch this show, number one. I think his problem is me. His problem is not the ill we're addressing. Because if it's the ill we're addressing, you should be blaming the blogs for sharing it, because people more like me or all like me or more are commenting on blogs already. It was trending online yesterday on X and all of that. People were already commenting. So the problem this person has is Nima, not the ill, not the woman, whether she was right, whether she was wrong, you know, whether she brought herself publicly. That's not the issue for him. The issue is why we should cover hijab.
Asked earlier that how would people respond when they see? That's how they respond.
Not them.
Hello.
because they are looking away from the ill. They're looking away from the issue and focusing
And Nima was
on what is irrelevant.
Nima was saying, no, we're not like that. Now you see.
I see. I see. Start.
And also, when you bring anything to the public space, you cannot hold people from commenting.
Yes.
If I wear hijab, I must run inside house.
Yeah, you will not comment.
Yes.
You see
I must
something
not
in your
comment.
nose, and you will not comment because you don't.
How dare I?
It doesn't. Just before you bring it to the public space, be sure
So,
that
wait.
anybody can comment.
So going about this embarrassment, because we are seeing it as embarrassing, but Mariam says something, some people, it's not embarrassing, like, yes, scatter it, let them know. But how, therefore, do we begin to address this going forward? How do we manage? You see, also, I always like to see things from the other side.
Yeah.
As a woman of God, you're also human. When men cheat, they say, oh, don't see as a man of God, but he's also a man.
Yeah.
She's also a woman. She has emotions. She's been hurt by this person. Maybe this is something that really ran deep to her. It was a huge cut for her. And because she had the ability, she has followers, she needed to address this person. You know, you don't talk to me like that. You don't say those kind of casual expressions on my character and who I am and don't expect me to respond. So how do we handle situations like this as women of God especially?
Okay. So the beauty of growing in the Holy Ghost or with the things of God or being, getting more and more in tune with the Holy Spirit, working with the Holy Spirit, for people that are universal people, they will say your higher self and all of that, is because you now start understanding what is most important, what your soul is here for. And then you start bringing up your soul to that level where your frequency is on the same level with your soul and your higher self and your intuition and all of that, because it's on a different level. They operate on a different level. Just like Jesus came here and talked about love most of the time. Jesus was on a different frequency of love. Now, when you are constantly walking with God, it takes you away from the regular animalistic plane to that. It's work in progress. It's something you choose to do on a daily basis. Yes. And so we must be able to differentiate you and the ordinary person who does not have Christ by your behavior. Now, what I see here is sometimes we get carried away with the anointing and we stop walking. The scripture says, take up your cross and follow me daily. We stop taking up that cross to do the work daily. Work out your salvation with fear and trembling. We get carried away with the anointing. I can do like this and 15 people will fall. I do like that and miracles are happening. And then you stop working out your salvation. There's work to be done. And that work means that you kill your ego. What I heard from the conversation was the two egos fighting.
One person.
I wasn't one ego for now.
Okay.
The other one
provokes with your ego now.
Did you hear that one?
On
social media.
That one was at an event, but the video is not online.
I'm not and your mate something. Is ego. Which one be mate inside the matter? We're here. In fact, something happened to me like that, and we went for a training. It was a coaching event and all of that. Sometimes when you start, getting involved in some work, you can easily tell people who have not conquered their ego. It comes out. It's not their, will I say it's not their fault now? Sometimes people get lost in the struggle. They forget it. Because the first thing that takes you there is because you want to be in the presence. But when you have enjoyed the presence to a certain stage, you forget why you are there. You enjoy the benefits that come from it, and you forget to put in the work, and it shows. So it shows in how you handle situations. Sometimes when I have reacted to situations and I sit down quietly, my spirit says, no, but that is not what we have been working on. I feel bad, and I go back and I apologize. That is not what we have been working on because I'm paying attention. So these ones have totally forgotten about the most important thing they are supposed to be presenting and preaching and changing, and focused on their ego. Their ego of who, because the ego itself, Mariah, the ego itself is always afraid of being attacked and is always ready to fight back. So that was what just played out.
Now, if we juxtapose this incident with the story trending on social media about the young girl she and her girlfriends were fighting, two girls were fighting, and she stabbed her friend and punctured a big vein. She bled to death. They saw the blood coming out. They just assume, your blood made you'll be okay. But there's a big vein and the girl bled to death. Now, this is anger. Yeah. And anger, one is doing social media. So would you say it's therapeutic to carry phone and insult the living daylight out of your friend on the phone and post it? That one for you will resolve it than being into physical activity where that girl took a knife, now the girl is there, her friend is dead. So some have taken social media as some kind of a therapy. I can't afford to go and pay a Lanre Olushola or somebody to understand how angry Mariam has made me. But I will vent to Mariam on the phone, I abuse her and post it. For me, I have let out 50% of the anger and I feel better. So today's world, social media is therapy for us than getting into physical fights.
Okay, so I disagree with that because we're talking about anger. And everybody use... Okay.
Lanre, please, I'm so sorry. Lanre from the UK. I do apologize. Are you still there?
Wow.
Oh, I do apologize. I totally forgot about you. Yes.
Sorry. No, don't forget someone.
Yes.
Anyway, what those ladies did, I haven't seen the video, but I heard about it. I think it's uncalled for, and it's not good. Number one, I condemn it. But and then someone that sent a text about Nima, I think that guy or that person is correct. Because if something like this happens in mosque and you bring it to this show, I'm telling you, the Muslims, they will burn you, they will run you down, and you will have to apologize to them. Because they don't want anyone to speak about their religion. What you can see what's going on about one guy from Ibadan. He was a Muslim before. Because he talked about Muslims, they have been dragging him. The judge is a Muslim. Every one of them, they are Muslim, they are judging him. Because if you talk anything about Muslim, I'm telling you, they will drag it down. They will make you to ask for forgiveness.
Okay.
So I'm not agree about Nima talking about this.
All right. Thank you very much, Olari.
Maybe I should step off.
Go ahead, Nima.
No, maybe I should step up the set to give balance. I don't
Nima has
understand.
a job to do. It's her
I
job
don't
to
understand
do.
that.
Yeah.
So let me explain this. We've sat on this table, and I have called out the northern elites, the scholars over northern issues several times, and I get my feedbacks, and I come back to work, and I do the same thing over and over again. But when you've watched this show, and you say you've watched your view for as long as it has existed, and you say, no, Muslims are dragging somebody, this is your view.
Yeah.
Until it gets here, you cannot use whatever is happening outside to judge here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you bring an issue and it is concerning you, we don't come and say which tribe, which group. I did a post sometime before elections and said, I put the pictures of the ladies and said, we are here for everyone. It was because of this sort of feedback. Some people saying, no, whenever they want to talk about it, find a place to hide. It is wrong and totally wrong. That means you don't even give me credit for what I've done here for almost 10 years. You don't want to acknowledge it. And then when you say, you people don't want to talk, it's until when it concerns people and their special biases that they want you to speak. And they want you to speak it the way they want it to reflect. Okay. These two adults have claimed to be holy.
Yes.
They've gone into any religion, no matter what the religion is now.
True.
And ascended to a point of respect and reverence. They cannot be seen. I have said it before. Every time we talk about it, you cannot claim to have reached a certain level of holiness that we are aspiring to, and then come and descend to this kind of level. And I will not be shut up on this table over what I think about it and how I think they should react.
Well said, Nima.
This woman owes her followers an apology.
Yeah.
And if it was possible, this cuckoo step aside from that holiness and be an ordinary human being.
Thank you.
You should not be like that. And you cannot tell me how to think or what to think about it.
Well said. I think we can wrap it up on that.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the matter.
You were trying to compare another trending issue.
Yes.
Where a young girl has stabbed her friend in anger. And
thinking that
you're trying to say that if you can just vent over social media, that makes it better than going physical. The thing is, for me, I don't agree that carrying the phone and venting it is different or therapeutic. I think it's from the same pit of hell, that sort of anger, is that you use the tool right before you. If she had a bottle, if the Holy Mother had a bottle, would she have carried it? Because it's not just about how she did it, it's what's inside. You know what you said about, and she just wanted to express herself. And the tool that she got was social media, was her phone. But that sort of character also shows me that if she was in a room with that person, whatever tools that she found there is what she would have used. So what is therapeutic is taking the time to stop. and be calm and digest what has happened. And if you're unable to seek guidance or support from your friends or people around you who can calm you down and, you know, let the storm of that anger pass away before you, engage that way. People also diminish the impact that abuse, verbal abuse has on people's mental health. I'm not going to justify the physical, I'm not trying to justify this physical stabbing that happened. Yeah. But what if one person had used the most abhorrent words against the other person and the person says, oh, me, I'm not a talker, but I'm just as angry as you. I fight something. So I fight you. The same thing. Yeah. We have to learn to work on our anger. Simple as shut. If you're angry, just shut up.
So I like that. We're all from the same pit. I like that pit of hell. The physical fighting, the verbal abuse, the emotional, everything is on the same place, and we have to address it. I think we can wrap up on this topic. Let's have a few comments. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a few comments and wrap up. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we're going to take a few comments and wrap up.
Okay, TCP says, as religious as many Africans are, we have not learned to allow our religion to temper our character. Yeah. As a Christian, I have learned that the fruit of the Spirit is more important than the gifts of the Spirit. We could talk about, okay, he's asking us to move to another topic. Asana Silas says, this has got nothing to do with Nima. Those women are individuals and then so-called clerics. They lack anything that holds moral, where self-control cannot be exhibited. If she had a knife, what would she have done? Babalola Samuel says, Auntie Miriam, I feel your vibe this morning. Respect to all the aunties in the house. The attitude of comparing in Christianity is rampant. Comparing herself materially with each other in achievement would ruin her core. Please tell the prophetess that competition but is not competition but God's assignment.
Okay.
So Mina TP says, anything that comes to the public space can be discussed by anybody, irrespective of their religion or ethnicity. Your View didn't go to the church WhatsApp group to pull this out. It was posted on X. Bola Joko says, well done, ladies. By their fruits you shall know them. Didn't Daddy Adeboye have a response to the Seleman before he decided to keep mute? Let me just quickly add, sometimes when the Pharisees and the Sadducees came to Jesus to annoy him with very ridiculous questions, he didn't respond to them. He will be writing.
Prof is here. Prof say.
He will be writing, and that writing is, he would take his time. He would process. He was a human being too when he came here, so I'm sure some of those questions would have annoyed him. Yeah. But then he will calm down, take his time, so that when he responds, he gives them something to go and think about. What we can begin to do is, when we're upset, calm down. You don't have to react immediately. Give it time. When you come back, you react from a better place that you'll be proud of tomorrow. Yeah. And always ask yourself, if I do this now and I see it in the next 1 week, would I be proud that I did it?
After you have calmed down.
Yes, when you see now see clearly, yeah.
Olushola James Taiwo says, good morning, lovely ladies. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The cloak is only an outward appearance. The true person lies underneath the name, title, or garment. Exactly. This public outburst is a let-off on an underlying personal issue between them.
Prof says, it's pure spiritual, that's Professor Imonoka, one I usually like is sweet. It's pure spiritual immaturity when we can't micromanage our emotions and anger and decide to resort to a layman lack of spiritual acculturation and self-control. We must resolve to approach the throne of grace without entrusting our souls and relationships with God to individuals, or entrust our destinies in the hands of individuals rather than God, which is why many Christian leaders see themselves as alternate God and the only means and way to God's answering our prayers. Imagine praying through this kind of person.
No, you'll be surprised they can get results. No, so it's not about sometimes.
How? I want to understand.
Wait now.
The vow of that talk.
Some people stand on the pulpit and they are able to pray for you. Their own lives may be dirty and have things, but somehow God uses them. God can use anybody.
Yes,
so
let's
not assume because somebody is speaking this way, God cannot use this person.
So, Mariah, the gifts of God are without recompense. That's the way they say it. So if he gives the gift to you, he doesn't take it back. He has given it to you. So you now decide how you want to use it. Sometimes you fall out of grace and you're going the other way. He doesn't take the gift away. But he said at the end of the day, some persons will say, Lord, Lord, I called your name. I healed people in your name. I did miracles in your name. I say, depart from me because I know you not. So he's not looking at the gifts to say, oh yeah, all of you, because I gave you gifts, all of you come back. He's looking at what you did with the gift, how intentional you were with preserving his flock. How will young people look at you today and say, is this what my holy mother is saying? That means I have a right to go and insult anybody that insults me. I just give them basbos. Those are the things that you will account for at the end of the day when you meet your Lord. And we're saying, but I did miracles now. I'll do hand, 15 people will fall. I'll do this one, 7 people will get pregnant. I did a lot of miracles. And you say, I know you not. Because you did not uphold what I taught you. Is in the actions at the end of the day. Is in the actions.
I think we can end up on that. Thank you very much, ladies, of your view. We have not shot yet. We have about 5 minutes left. I'd like us to touch on...
5 minutes.
We have touch on the Timidakolo. I don't know. So we're going to wrap up on the whole thing. But in summary, I think the prophetess should have gotten feedback from everybody's views and across social media. And the truth is that indeed she owes the church itself an apology because it's a church of white garments, holiness. When you see there's a sect that believes in purity, in what they wear the garment, it's such a sacred garment that when you're wearing that, you should hold it in such high esteem that you shouldn't even be seen saying those kind of words. So I think she owes the church itself an apology for those words she put out there, and hopefully that she and the person reconciles, and so that they can show good example of reconciliation to others. Okay, I think that's the way to wrap up that. But just before the show runs out, we heard that Timidakolo was saying something about a driver he employed told his wife that he doesn't drive women, and this sounded so familiar because we are all women here, mothers and wives and everything. And I wanted to find if you guys have really had any of these drivers. I had a driver once who, I told you now, that when he needs anything, it's my husband who we're going to. And he's driving, I employed him. My husband is not the one that employed him. I pay his salary. If he needs something, he'll go and meet my husband. And I'm thinking, and Brown doesn't take nonsense. If you ask him once, he'll dash you maybe the second time, he won't answer you again. So you now start following my husband to hoping to get favors. Brown will not answer you. And I'm the one that will give you. But I don't know why you can open your mouth and ask me. Same here too. This driver is telling to Timidakolo, I can't drive women. I don't drive women. What does that mean?
I should go and sit back in.
No fine work.
It's not
it's not the same with you. You're not hungry. It's not the same with your own situation.
Okay.
Yes. I totally understand your driver. I wouldn't, if I had a driver, it would be normal for him to talk to my husband for some personal things than talk to me. His business is strictly to drive me, go, come back.
But if he has an issue, if he has a welfare problem, shouldn't he talk to his boss, which is me?
That's about familiarity.
No.
Because we are in the Ville.
Okay.
Yes. And if you grew up in that culture, even in the Yoruba culture, there's this reverence you give to the madam, that if you must do anything, you talk to...
Really?
Yes. Even in the customs in the West.
So I personally believe I'm the manager of the house. You've given me a go-ahead to manage the house on behalf of the main person. So not every request would go to the main oga. I see it as disrespect. I see it as one, you don't even respect me because you feel I'm a woman. I don't have a say. Then I wait for you to go and collect it and come back. Let's see if you will get it. That's one. Secondly, I feel like, why do I want to bother him with everything he's thinking in his head, his workload? Why do I want to bother him with your issues? Those are the issues that have to do with, how do you call it, household. Domestic issues. That's my forte, that's my job. That's where they have put me and that's where I'm handling. So when you jump over me, who is like the house manager, to the oga pata, like the chairman, you jump over your MD and you go straight to the chairman to go and, I feel it's disrespectful. So it happened recently, very recently. In fact, when I picked up my phone and I did not use any bad words. I don't use bad words on people, but I was like, don't ever. But why would I'm the one who's employed you. I'm the one who's paying you. If you need anything, come straight to me.
Exactly.
I will present the matter. But all the staff now handle them. I'll present the matter to the oga. We will deliberate on it, and I'll come back. He will send me the message, and I'll come back with the feedback. Don't go ahead of me. I don't take it.
But I want to talk about I cannot drive women.
Okay, pause for a second. Let me take from local jam, Mohammed. Mohammed, thanks for calling. You live.
Thank you. Hello, thank
You're
you.
live. Go ahead, Mohammed, please.
Yeah, thank you and good morning.
Good morning, we can hear
Go
you.
ahead, please.
Are you listening to the TV? Talk to us.
You know, I really enjoyed the program. For those who say they don't love driving women, driving women, you know, sometimes we as drivers, because I'm talking to you as a driver,
Okay.
it's based on a kind of communication you are giving to the person driving you, not because you are a lady or not because you are a woman. You know that the organs in the house are free to...
Go ahead,
Hello?
Mohammed. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Yes. Organs in the house are most time free to you as drivers than the madam. Madams, because of maybe the way they relate with you, with their attitude and all that. So that's most of the problem the drivers have with madams, and most of us don't like drive women.
So would you? So Mohammed, let me stay with you for a second. So if you got a job with your employer, you tell your employer you can't drive the madam because you don't want the madam's wahala.
No. Sometimes some madams are nice. Most of them, because most of them give drivers trouble.
How about orgas? Some orgas are nice and some orgas are not.
Nice.
Would that also determine whether you drive for a man or not?
No. But just because of those attitudes from madam, most times, because they look at you as you are a driver.
Oh, yikes. So that's
so he has entered where I was headed. He has put his leg there, which is culturally, Nigerian men have been brought up to think that they are above women. Superior. And you see this, I will not drive women. I've heard people, drivers, you know, people of a certain socioeconomic class would look at you maybe, like in the bank then you hear, I get your type
for house.
For house. Because a Nigerian man has been raised to believe that he's above every woman, anyhow. As long as you're a woman and he's a man, he's above you. So when he even comes to you as, and it worked in the ancient days, where the women, all of them together, they enter the farm or whatever it is that they were doing, and all the men were the hunters and the going to war. But you're now living in this present day. And things have changed.
Absolutely.
Now you need a job. And now you have to get a job from women that are empowered. How about women that do not even have husbands?
Exactly.
Who own cars and are seeking for drivers? What would you now do today as a person, as a human being living in Nigeria today?
A landlord to ask about.
So the thing is, men need to keep with the program.
Yeah.
You know, we even talk about it in marriage, where it seems that you have these traditional roles and you're unable to keep with the programs of modern day. So we need to keep with the program. If he looks for jobs, 1, 2, 3, and he does not get the job, he will rethink, his mindset will rethink. Remember the Action Aid guide says, if you, that alt bank says, if you put money to a problem, the problem will solve itself. Once you see that you're unable to get a job because you are basing off on gender, then you will rethink. See, Nigerian men, it is not... There's nothing wrong when a woman expresses her displeasure about something to you. And it's not because you're a driver. It is because it is her right to do so, and it's okay for you to acknowledge when you have done wrong.
And take the feedback.
They do not also like to take correction if it is you. You hear an organ shout at this, yes, sir. Help you, the female. Say something a little, raise your voice even a little bit. See the way she's talking. They will sit down on your case.
Yes.
That woman, the way she talked to me, is not anything but because you're a woman. Yeah. Someone also, one more thing. Someone was saying recently that he made a call to a call center and was upset about something. When he spoke to a woman, he says he noticed his voice was high. He was telling her off. The thing cut off, and then a man got on. He said while he was talking, he realized he was much calmer. He realized that inside him, you know, that bias was there. If it's a woman, how dare you? I'm talking to you, you're talking back.
It happens in the National Assembly. I don't know if you have noticed it.
Yes.
National Assembly.
Senator Oloriburuku.
Wait, let me pause you for a second.
It was about woman.
I have a call. Good morning, Gwenga.
Good morning.
He made the
Yes.
mockery of her at the time.
You're live.
Yes, pertaining to driving a woman,
Yes.
there's no big deal there. There's no big deal. But the relationship between the driver and the madam, you know, some madam, they may be so nice to the driver, so the essence that we man, we are very jealous. When you see the man going to
Be jealous.
the madam, the driver going to the madam, and the madam is responding to him according to the side. We man, we are so jealous. We've been looking at
Like, so whose problem is if you're jealous? Can't you work on yourself?
It's respectful.
Is there anything going on within them? Why is it my madam? And the madam always responds. A guy, maybe they went on and they are late before coming back, and the madam got the driver out. Where are they coming from? Coming this night and still giving the driver something. We are jealous, man, no.
Okay, thank you, Benga, for that feedback. Good feedback.
So,
You understand, Benga?
Very well. Ayodele Temi says, a driver once told me he doesn't drive elderly people, and I apparently wanted to employ him for my parents. And he said, I once spoke, one usually spoke with my dad anytime he had issues or needed assistance. I had to caution him that he would not get any assistance from me again if he has to channel through my dad. Now, for what Benga is saying, there's this familiarity that a driver must not get to with a madam when you're an interpersonal relationship. If I employed you at Sinosure, for instance, in my firm, that's a different matter. But if you are my close-up driver and you bring me home and back, you interface with me and my husband, you must show that respect when you talk about me in front of my husband. You cannot get to family and say, madam, today dies, so you cannot just open your mouth like that.
You're talking about, does he have that familiarity with your husband? He does not.
He can.
He's also part of the disrespect for women that he thinks he can be a certain sort of familiar with you.
We have to wrap up.
So it's either it comes as
The show has finished, though.
or it comes as over familiarity.
You will start our topic.
The show has
start our topic when the show was about to.
Show has finished.
No.
We're doing another.
See,
Okay,
this
we'll
is
do
a cultural thing. We need to handle it.
Don't do another one now. No, be serious.
We have to wrap up, unfortunately. Write down the topic. So we'll do it again another day so that we don't forget it. But that's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.